This is Autogefühl with Thomas, and today we have for you the VW Multivan T7, the new generation. It is now more passenger car alike, less truck alike or less commercial alike. We'll go into the details, and we start here at the front. You can see it is round, typical bully style. Well, that's not a negative thing, because in Germany we say bully, but that's not the the mobbing bully. It's just a word here we use in Germany for a microbus indeed. Yeah, strange that translation indeed. You now get LED lamps from standard, and optional you can see these ones here, the matrix lamps. So more passenger car technology also now here in this generation for the microbus. And as a comparison, these here are the base LED lamps. So they indeed have a completely different styling, also different daytime running lights. This is a two-tone paint, but we also have different paints for you coming up very soon. Here, when you come to the side profile, you can see this is the energetic trim level, this is a high trim level, and yeah, the coast will also go up quite a lot, soon more to that. And here, in this case here, we have 18-inch wheels, so also styling wise, even topped up the game. And in the side profile you can see here, this is the typical form follows function scheme. 4.97 meters or 196 inches is the length of the short version. You can see it here in the overhang. Soon going to compare also the longer version for you. Wheels come from 16 to 19 inch, by the way. This is the range, and interesting also suspension wise, either base suspension or the adaptive suspension, the DCC. We also have equipped here with the car today. And here, this is by the way the long version, 5.17 meters or 204 inches. Where can you see that from the outside? It's just the rear overhang. It has the same wheelbase, just this part here. So you gain 20 centimeters or 8 inches. You can compare it here. Look at that. And here again is a comparison, the short length, and here my whole arm was covered by the vehicle with the long overhang, so it really went up to here, so you can very well see the comparison. Well, and if your favorite soccer club has these colors, then you could also go for one here in this two-tone paint. Yeah, you maybe know which soccer club I know, but it also depends on the country, right? Well, and this would be my choice, of course, Thomas Blue style, all the way in blue. This, brings so much joy indeed, and also great combination with bright fabric seats on the interior. Design-wise here in the rear, a lot has been done. See here the new tail lamps, very modern style. And as for the towing capacity, either 2 tons for the 2-liter TSI or 1.6 tons then for all the other engine versions. So there's a difference in of 4,400 pounds to 3,500 pounds than for the rest of the less strong versions. This here also the e-hybrid, the plug-in hybrid drivetrain. Soon going to take a look at that. Let's already open that hatch here in the electric way. And this being the short overhang, that means there's not so much space for luggage behind when you put the seats all the way back. But they're also flexible. You could also move the seats more forward, of course. Here the width is actually 1.20 meters. That's really substantial. Of course, it's like 46 inches. So a normal passenger car would be like this here in the width. That's very interesting. And you see here, when the seats are all the way to the rear, you have about 40 centimeters or 16 inches left. But once again, you use these rails, and then you can also slide the seats forward. And here, as a comparison, this is the long overhang. So in the short overhang, the trunk would end about here approximately, and then you have this piece further. So yeah, so what's on the exterior 20 centimeters, then on the interior 15 centimeters. Yeah, so but definitely these are all the way slid back. Then you have even more luggage capacity. Of course, here also you could push them more forward. Big news here for the engines. Plug-in hybrid drivetrain, 1.4 TSI with electric drive, front-wheel drive so far. 10 kilowatt hours net battery, so 25 miles or 40 kilometers max as for the electric drive. Soon there will also be a topped up version where you get an additional electric motor in the rear for the Phev drivetrain. Other than that, pure petrol engine, 1.5 TSI or the strong 2-liter TSI. And later on also the 2-liter TDI, once again the diesel. It was the main engine before, but now definitely more going into the petrol and Phev direction. This is the car key. High gloss black, yeah, okay. Oh, by the way, here, mono silver and energetic orange. This is the outside color for that one. Interesting, right? Door closing sound. Very solid, like that. Very good sound indeed. Then you have here a soft armrest. That's actually good as for the build quality and so on. Also nice with these door handles. Then a lot of space to put things here. Oh, like in Skoda's, a small trash bin. And then here this all new interior with a passenger car-like steering wheel with the modern style, but real buttons still, that's good to have. Also heated steering wheel is available actually. Then you have this very interesting styling element here. I'm not sure what they thought about that. I don't know. This one here is hard pack, by the way, but it has a nice structure, so it feels really good, although it's not soft. So I can very well live with that. It really looks and feels nice. Interesting. New seating choices available. This one here is a kind of the most sophisticated one with the microfiber inside, even two color here, also with the bright microfiber that looks and feels really lovely. Leatherette on the outside, so this one here is animal free. And there are, for example, also bright fabric seats available that are a little bit cheaper but also look really, really good. Then you get inside and you don't sit as high as in the T6. So you also feel here in the seating position, you still have some of the command seating position and it's more upright than in a normal passenger car, but you don't feel like this, truck-alike feeling anymore. I think it's still good. It feels a little bit more agile. Steering wheel in and out, up and down, nice and easy to control. 1.86 or 6'1". We still have a lot of headroom left, and come closer here because the panoramic roof is kind of like split, and we already have one here in the front. This one is absolutely, fixed. You cannot open it. And there's more to come in the rear very soon. This is also very spectacular, but let's first finish here in the front. Interior overview, really a lot to discover here. It's relatively clean actually. This is here, for example, a cubby hole. Then you have the normal glove box, and here also dampened, that's good. This is the hard pack material here. Harman Kardon sound system, optional, soon going to listen to that. And also speakers here, really, far out left and right. This is very interesting. And here, digital instruments and also new infotainment system, 2x10-inch. This is then the full, most digital setup. The shifting lever is right here. That is really space saving because it's shift by wire from this dual clutch transmission. Yeah, then about here, the non-backlit temperature sliders and also volume sliders. We don't need them, we know them meanwhile, so we would like to have real climate dials, but then again they could create a very clean cockpit layout for that. Sumo deals to the infotainment. Lower part you do have some hotkeys. They are also hashtag capacitive curves for the climate unit, or here then the mode drive selector for the DCC. Then you have the different driving modes or also the battery hold function. Then in lower part you can put your smartphone right here, and then this is another beverage holder choice. You can fold it down or up here, and this is then even more interesting here. This is the middle table, and you have cup holders right in there. And the cool thing is actually this is at the moment here in the front as a normal middle console, but you can actually move this whole thing because here this is also for the tables, So this is the same unit you can put to the front, which you can then also slide there to the back. And it's basically, it has this multi-purpose. Woo! And hidden below this smartphone holder are the two USB-C chargers. Yes, we know this infotainment system from new passenger car generations, and well, we didn't have any big problems so far today. Glad to say that, but it's not the best overall. Interesting consumption figures we scored here for the plug-in hybrid drivetrain so far. You can read them right there. And for the seat heating or the climate control, you can also press it in here, but everything really hard to control actually while driving. And the car internal GPS should always be a little bit more responsive. You see the overall speed of the system is not really sufficient. They had recent software updates. They made it better, but not really that good overall. Apple CarPlay integration or Android Auto, both via cable or wireless, both is possible. And the Harman Kardon sound system, I can really say, super excellent. This has a great surround sound. So the cool thing about this car for me, you can have a great music party, a dance party in here. That's amazing. Digital instruments, you can switch the views, more simplistic view, for example, more classic view, or then, for example, also the map full screen, really good. And you can also order a head-up display. Now to the sides, you can order 1 or 2 sliding doors and manual or electric, and this looks really cool once again with the microfiber surfaces for the seats here in this case, but that's an option. And then the panoramic roof, that's of course also an option. So many things are optional in this vehicle. yeah, but that leaves a lot of light in. And let's crouch inside, and you have this new rail system, so you can easily move the seats front and back. And this goes in a very, very easy way and is a very smooth process indeed. And in that way here, this is in a 6-seater setup, but you can also get a 7-seater setup, for example. And you can also put the seats as they are right here, you know, facing each other, but you can also move them around. And that's also one crucial thing of that vehicle here. It's so easy to move the seats, but also to put them out completely like this. You can, for example, fold them down, then you have cup holders on top, like it's an additional table. And then you just need to put this one here, and then you could actually, here like this, put the whole seat out. That's so easy to do. And by this, you can actually, for example, let's say, take this and the other seat out and put the bicycle just, you know, without demounting anything in there, and leave the other side for the passengers. Or what you can also do, for example, when I move this seat here forward like this, then yeah, goes like this, then we would have more trunk. Or then again, if you say, you know, your family is like, you know, 4 persons overall, then you put these 2 seats here just and put these 2 completely out, and then you have here like a massive trunk length and can drive with 4 people, so that, you know, you're staying really, really flexible. And you can also now pull this table like this, so move it then to the back part, and then once again push it here to fold it up, and then we can also, yeah, maybe a little bit further like this, and then I can also use this table right here, and yeah, we can have a nice picnic. And then the front area then is actually just, you know, yeah, open, and you can always then also use these armrests, for example, here in the front then, so this gives also a nice traveling feeling. You might have seen that these seats here also are a little bit different, because these seats here, then they can be, you know, just like as they are here. They have the independent seats, seat belts here directly inbuilt. Other than that, you have, for example, you know, these here in the back. There, the seat belt comes from here, and you can see there's another seat belt coming from here, and that would be then the other solution when they are in a different position. So I took the first seat out then, and I slid this one forward, so I can also take this one out then. They are quite heavy, but you know, it's okay, depending on how strong you are actually. And then I want to show you the perspective from the rear, where we have one side. And here we go. We take out this cover. By the way, here's a small torch, so you can also take it out. That's possible. And this is here the control for the towing hook. So then see here, there it is released. But what I actually want to show you here, I took out the seats now on one side. Of course, you can take them out completely, and then we have here indeed 2 meters or about 80 inches. So it's more than 2 meters here to the front seat. You can see here, yeah, that's like, see here, right, when we take the last bit also like this, yeah, it's like 2 meters 30, or like, yeah, 90 inches. So that's really a good result. And if you want even more length, then once again go for the longer overhang. And how to create a 3-seater setup here for the rear. There's no through bench available, always single individual seats. And here for this, then you have to press a button here, and then you can release these armrests like this and like this. Very interesting. And then I already turned around the seat here, and then I just have to slide it backward, because I'm now using the middle rails like this. And then we can also, where is it? There it is. So, and that way, here we go. And then we have one here also in the rear. And I really have to say, all these seats here also in the rear are very comfortable indeed. So no matter where you are seating. So yeah, this is the fun thing about this vehicle. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the VW T7 multivan. And this is, I can already tell you so far, such a huge difference in driving to the outgoing model. It's something completely different indeed. There are some similarities, but we're going to talk about these, of course. We're getting here on the motorway, German Autobahn, because this is essentially also a traveling vehicle, especially for your family. And noise insulation, you cannot compare it like, you know, to a luxury sedan or something. But for such a van, this segment here, it's actually quite good. So we're here at about 100 kilometers an hour or 60 miles an hour. Of course, you have just more area, you know, where noise can build up, so to speak. But it's actually quite good, quite well dampened also, you know, from the window area and so on. Here on the motorway, so far, 100 kilometers an hour, we set the cruise control right here on the steering wheel. Gladly, we still have the manual buttons, and yeah, sometimes a little bit unclear which button to press here indeed, but at least with the hard buttons it's way easier. So in the cruise control, distance to the car in front of you is being kept, and also the lane keeping assist is activated. Let's see if it catches me in the lane. Here we go. See here, this counter steering. So, and it works in a very flawless and also rather smooth way, so there's not a hard attack from the steering wheel or something, so that's also very well done. You also have a blind spot monitor. It appears here in the side mirror as inbuilt right there, and when I hit the turning indicator it's also flashing. So assistance systems wise, you can really get everything that they offer at the moment in the corporation. That's a good thing to have, definitely. It feels definitely more passenger car alike, clearly to say that. You also sit a little bit lower, but however, due to the building form, the space around you, you still somehow have this bully VW multivan feeling, or this microbus feeling. So it is still there, but it definitely feels less truck-alike. And yeah, on the one hand, you can say it's somehow fun to sit even higher. On the other hand, this feels so much better to maneuver, and soon we're also driving, some countryside, city traffic and so on, a little bit slower and so on. This is of course the best advantage there, but here already on the motorway, it feels so easy to handle. We have the DCC also here, the dynamic chassis control. In the comfort mode, it's the most comfortable driving experience. In the sport mode, the suspension stiffens up, and we can go racing with this multivan. When do you feel it? For example, when you do a lane change or so, then you feel that the suspension is giving you a little bit more feedback, for example. As for how fast it drives, also when you are in the sport mode, it changes to this S shifting mode. You could, however, also when you are in the comfort mode, press the shifting lever down once, and then you see also the gauges change to red. Then you're just in the S shifting mode. That means the car is shifting down a gear for you, just for you automatically, and the gears are also turned up higher, so overall then more performance. Most of the time probably you'll rather hug to the right lane and also set the cruise control, and then just enjoy this traveling feeling. So once again, other pure passenger cars which you could get in at this price point are more silent in the drive, yes. However, this one here feels so much more passenger car alike if you compare it to the outgoing model, and it can be criticized as for the interior space, for example, but I think it does still have, a lot of interior space. But driving wise, already here from the motorway driving, really have to say it is just way better to drive. It feels more modern, it feels easier to drive. It is indeed a more likable driving experience. And here, let's go to that sport mode and show you one acceleration with this hybrid drivetrain, 1.4 liter, from 70 kilometers an hour. It's 100, 120. So that was then 70 to 120 kilometers an hour. Well, when you're using, there's an interesting green color there for that bimmer. What is it? Oh, this is a 340i. It is actually, wow. This is custom made matte foil, right? Should be, yeah. Interesting. Green hell paint, probably. So, the thing is here about the plug-in hybrid drivetrain, it will be a great choice, especially, for example, for German customers who want to save taxes. There is this company car rule at this moment where plug-in hybrids, you have to pay less taxes for private use of the company car. This is a massive difference then, and probably the number one reason to go for that. You don't go for the plug-in hybrid for environmental reasons. That's the thing. Unless you really have 100% the right use case for that. Yeah, but then again, Would I go for the plug-in hybrid? Here, from the motorway performance, the normal pure petrol engines would be better, because this 1.4 liter petrol engine is not the best as for the performance. It feels kind of stressed when you really hammer it, and the electric boost doesn't give you any big advantage at higher speeds. It's more something for lower speeds. And now some countryside or city driving, a little bit slower and so on. And the very interesting thing is, so predominantly motorway driving, we have a very efficient result so far. 5.5 liters on 100 kilometers petrol, and around 9 kilowatt hours on 100 kilometers as for the electric drive. But I mainly really use the combustion engine on the motorway, which is the useful thing to do in this case. And this is some 40 mpg US or even 50 mpg plus UK. So very efficient result. And we know this plug-in hybrid drivetrain so far, and it's not the best in the world. So that means this vehicle itself is very efficient, and way more efficient than the predecessor. First of all, weight. It's way lighter than the predecessor. And also, yeah, of course, then there's the battery again. So yeah, that's maybe a thing, more combustion engine versus combustion engine. Okay. But then the main thing is the wind efficiency. So this one is indeed more efficient than the outgoing model. We see that already here in the consumption, and that also means that it will also count for the pure petrol engines. And this is probably one of the big advantages, definitely here in this new generation. Also, this is here now a situation where the plug-in hybrid drivetrain plays a good role. Why is someone horning, and where? What the Okay. So that was like a Porsche Panamera Corso for a wedding. I mean, we had right of way, but I was like, what is happening there? Yeah, about that. Live an Autogefühl. So back to the plug-in hybrid drivetrain. So when we're cruising here in the city, see it here all the time, 0 RPMs from the combustion engine. So we're not polluting anyone here in the city, and that's of course a good thing. So we can locally reduce emissions. And also on the motorway, for example, when we were like leaving off the throttle, hitting the brakes, something, then RPMs drop to 0 and you can gain back some energy. So recuperation always happening when you're hitting the brakes. And in that respect, it can also bring more efficiency in general in motorway driving, but of course won't have the biggest effect. Here, for example, when I'm hitting the throttle a little bit harder, combustion engine hops on. What you can also do is, when you hit this mode button, then you can go to the E mode. So when I say like, I want it specifically all electric, so that is possible, then the car is being forced to stay in the electric mode. And interesting things are happening here today. So the glitch in the matrix must be. So, and then for example here, accelerating pure electric, just when you use a pin down, like really like, then combustion engine still hops on. But Michelle and I, we were agreeing very fastly that this vehicle has an excellent travel feeling. And this, once again, yes, you have lost a little bit of T6 truck feeling, but you gained more passenger comfort feeling. But at the same time, we could all agree like we could use this now as a road trip vehicle or something, you know. Yes, it could be a little bit more silent when you drive faster. Yeah, but then the infotainment system, we were thinking like, come on, really? So far today it worked quite well, considering the experience we had with this infotainment system software and other Volkswagen vehicles, but it's still something they need to fix in general. But overall, driving-wise, yeah, this is a very good result, definitely for this new generation of the T7. Really liked what we've seen so far. If you want to see more about details, trims and different colors and so on, we also have a studio episode here of this vehicle, and of course you should tune into the Mercedes V-Class.